Charlton won on the road last week for the first time away this season. And after the FA Cup craziness that we saw at the Valley here on Sunday, it's time to get back to our league form, of course, where Michael Appleton's side will be hoping to carry on and getting back to winning ways. Well, we may be 6th in the form table since the start of September, but today may be our toughest test since Appleton's arrival at the club. Fratton Park has traditionally been a happy hunting ground for Charlton fans and Michael's teams, but today is likely to be a tough test as the Addicts face a Portsmouth team that sit top of the table and are unbeaten in the league this season. With less than 45 minutes until kick-off, let's take a look at what we've got coming up. We'll hear from Michael, who spoke to CharltonTV ahead of today's game. We'll have a look at today's table-topping opponents and the threats they pose. And we'll focus on the Sky Bet League One Player of the Month, Charlton's number 9, playing as a number 10, Alfie May. Well, warm welcome to everybody around the world. Don't forget, if you haven't got your match streaming pass, it is just £10 if you live outside of the UK. Delighted to say Brownie and Curbs alongside me. How are you both? Feels like it's been a long time since we've been here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, actually, today's game.
You've had a cheeky little trip as well, haven't you?
Cheeky trip, yeah. I watched the FA Cup game on a road trip back from Clemson, Notre Dame. Yeah, I've had a good week, mate. Mike Aman and his wife Gina were very good hosts.
That's North Carolina, by the way, isn't it?
North Carolina, yeah. Lake Norman, Mooresville. It was brilliant. Brilliant week. Great weather as well for that time of year. Yeah, really good week, mate.
How is Mike and Gina? They good?
Yeah, very well. Yeah. I feel sorry for Mike a little bit. He's got one of mine at home, so always in his ear.
I don't believe that. I remember Gina. She's absolutely lovely.
I told him while I was out there.
So you've come back now and Mandy's pleased to see you.
That's a stretch.
Moving swiftly on. Look, I mean, it's easy to forget after the FA Cup game, of course, where everyone's sort of thinking there's no way we should be drawing, and rightly so as well, despite the changes. But the last time we were in the studio was the Wigan game, and it was a very good performance as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
for most of it.
Yeah, and that's why I think the cup game. I think we've got to understand what Michael tried to do in terms of giving everyone a game. There's so many players that are not fit in his squad that they took perfect opportunity to give a lot of players 90 minutes, and it's backfired a little bit. So he's got to put that right next week. But this is a big game for us. I think Portsmouth's obviously flying high. Great atmosphere is going to be at the ground, and we've got to respond.
Just on the cup game, you were here, weren't you? What 11 changes? Some may say that's too many, but it's basically then Charlton's second string, isn't it? We know that Cray Valley were always going to lift themselves and play as if they were 3 or 4 leagues higher, so that kind of levelled it out. But as a manager, do you still think, well, that's what I wanted to do? That was what the players who've been knocking on my door had an opportunity, and now they can't.
It's both ways. I think that there would have been a few players that have been saying, look, I think I should be in the first team. And he took the opportunity, I think, as I said earlier, about people being not 100% fit, but they're on the bench or they're involved in the squad. He took the opportunity to give them 90 minutes. Still should have won the game, but great credit to Cray because they had a couple of players that caused a few problems, and I'm sure on Wednesday they're going to look forward to that. I was a bit surprised. I thought they might have asked to have the replay here, a bigger crowd, if you like, and the pitch and etc. But they probably see playing at Cray as a chance to turn us over.
Well, what does that tell us, Brownie? The fact that they haven't gone for that.
It tells us that I would have taken it back. Non-league grounds are difficult notoriously, but the fans are right on top of you. It never sells out. Like you never sell out as a home team in non-league. So this would be unique for Cray. I would have dragged Charlton back. It should have never been back there in the first place. And these guys, they work all week. They if you're lucky, you get an hour with them a week. And there was a couple of performances. I watched it, as I said, I watched it on the road back, and there was a couple of performances in there that were right old school, weren't they? The centre half, right old school, just defend the box, head, kick it clear. And watching the game, I thought you kind of deserved a draw with that second half. We tailed off. They kind of deserved a draw. Get them back, make it as uncomfortable as you can.
I agree.
It reminded me of Dagenham and Redbridge. Remember?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Because that week we'd won 4-0 at Man City. Then drew 1-1 with Arsenal, I think, or might have beat them, I can't remember. And then we played Dagenham and Redbridge here, the same team that had beat Man City 4-0 away, and we scraped a draw in the last minute. I think John Solarco scored in the last minute.
Yeah.
And then they took us back to Dagenham and Redbridge, which wasn't the Dagenham and Redbridge now.
No.
And
No.
the first game got called off because it was too cold,
Too wet,
icy,
yeah.
and they really wanted it on. And then we went there and got the result in the end.
Under Stilly, so you knew what you were getting. Yeah, and quite a few of us got dragged in for the away one.
I think Newt scored, didn't he? Newt scored.
It's a backhanded compliment, that, isn't it,
I
Brownie?
don't know. I know Klaus came out. It was a bit too naughty for Klaus.
Klaus wasn't going. Klaus wasn't going to Dagenham and Redbridge now.
Where is this Dagenham, Alan? Where is Dagenham, Alan?
So coming into this game then, what's the mentality? And we'll come on to the team in just a second. There's only a couple of changes from the Wigan game. Is it from the Wigan game, mental, or is it actually off the back of the Craig Valley?
Cup games, that's next week.
It's more so the fans thinking that, really, because I'd be thinking the Wigan as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've got a full contingent going there today. And I think Michael, he'd be looking for, obviously, a response. But as you say, there were so many changes made last week. But I'll be looking at this, if I was Michael, I'll be looking at this thinking, they're top. We're going to try and get into the top 6 or whatever. This is another game where we can lay a marker down and you know, show everybody that we perhaps should be took serious, top 6. And let's see how we get on.
We do have a great record at Fratton Park, and we'll talk
yeah.
about that a little bit later on. But did you enjoy the trips generally to Fratton Park?
I did.
You had the feeling of this is a place that we normally come away with a win?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones where I don't remember getting beat there. I'm
Ain't
sure.
the best of, like, change rooms and things like that,
No.
there, is it?
I think, yeah, it wasn't back then. It wasn't back then. I don't know if it's changed now, but yeah, I remember the dressing rooms being quite a way. You had to walk quite a way to get to the tunnel. But yeah, the atmosphere was always brilliant. That was the one thing. The atmosphere was always brilliant, and I can't remember getting beat there, to be honest with you. And that's unusual to have a ground that you don't get beat at. But yeah, let's hope that continues today.
Absolutely. Let's hope for a very entertaining game and we come away with all 3 points. Although at the moment I'd probably take just the one. Let's hear from Michael Appleton, who spoke to Charlton TV a little bit earlier.
Michael, as it is, you've made 2 changes to the lineup that finished at Wigan. Do you want to explain those?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Tyrese was a little bit more of a, well, I'd say enforced one, but it wasn't just obviously due to the injury to Panucci. But obviously Teo coming in on that left-hand side, you know, the likes of Terrell have done great for us, and Nathan at times, and even tonight at times. But you know, Teo coming to the football club as a natural left-back, and he's got lots of quality, brings us lots of balance, and yeah, hopefully we can keep him fit and get some decent performances out of him.
So it was great news that he got some minutes under his belt in the FA Cup game, and Conor McGrandles as well. He got minutes in and he makes the bench.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've worked with Conor before. I know what he brings to the table. He's got a little bit of experience that we're going to need at places like this, whether you're playing from the bench or you're starting. I think having him in the dressing room, having him around the group, sort of gives us all a bit of a lift.
And we've arrived here. It's a lovely day. Looks good conditions, good pitch. Going to be a full house. Going to be a great occasion this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great day. Obviously, we've been Remembrance Weekend and everything that goes with that. And you know, you rightly said there, it looks like it's going to be, you know, one hell of a game in terms of the attendance and the atmosphere. I certainly know what the atmosphere can be like here. But having said that, I've come back a couple of times as an away manager and done quite well, so I hope that continues today.
Yeah, you said that before, and Charlton as a team have done quite well here at Fratton Park, and not least because we've always had good support, and it's another sellout away crowd here. Over 2,000 Addicts fans have made the trip down. It'd be nice to send them away happy.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic. I mean, you know, we're very appreciative that you know, they've come in their numbers today, and you know, hopefully we can give them a similar sort of performance as we did in the second half in my very first game at Stevenage. And you know, there's no better scene when you're an away manager and you see your fans celebrate behind the goal, and hopefully we'll be able to give them that today.
You're hoping the Wigan game and the performance we put in for most of that game can be a marker for what we can do this afternoon?
I hope so. There's no reason why we can't. I know obviously Portsmouth are doing as well as they're doing, but you know, we're pretty confident in ourselves today, and you know, we think that we've got a game that's more than capable of winning this game today.
Cheers, Michael. Good luck.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. Just the 2 changes then from the Wigan game. Tayo Eden and Tyrese Campbell come in for Nathan Esimwe and Panucci Camara. Tayo, a natural left-back, Curbs. We know how important it is to have a natural left-back.
I mean,
massive position.
Yeah, it's been a problem area, isn't it? And
I was slightly joking there, but actually you're right.
No,
yeah.
I was thinking about, he's been out, it was really disappointing when he got injured, and he was going really well. So yeah, good to have him back. looks another strong side, doesn't it? I mean, you look. I keep looking at the front four, and you expect goals. You expect goals from them. And I know Brown is then looking at the back six, if you like, or back seven, and you know, can they hold out? That's the thing. I think we've always got a goal in us, but can we keep some clean sheets?
I really like Nathan Asimwe, but I just think with Nathan and Tyrese down the right-hand side, it's a very inexperienced right-hand side, Brownie. One of the reasons maybe why Tanay isn't?
Yeah, and a bit. Yeah, I think when you're going away to the leaders and the home form that they've shown this year, and actually their record as a whole, you kind of need a little bit more experience. I think. I think we forget that he's in his first year, Nathan. You know, so there's a learning curve, and you know, it's like we've said before. You put young players in, hopefully, when it favours you, rather than just having to put them in, week out. So I think there are games like this where you can put your more experienced players in, and there is nothing lost for me. You know,
the interesting thing for me is obviously Fraser's fit now, and he played in that cup game, but Michael's decided to play Alfie May as a number 10, and I've been saying I don't want to lose Alfie May by playing him out of position, but it seems like he's happy to do it, and he's the one that does make that extra man in the box and nick a goal, and he is responsible as well. He does help out in midfield and you know, tracks back and whatever, but I wouldn't want to lose him for the sake of you know, not playing him down the middle.
Yeah, I think as a listen, I think we all know as a forward-thinking team, I think we're 5th top scorers in the league. So there's goals in that team. That front four is exciting, and it certainly was very, very good at Wigan. What we need to avoid is that last 10 minutes. You know, if we're going to need an 84-minute performance over 90+ add-ons here today to get something from this game. But that front four can cause you trouble. I think it surprised Wigan. I think they were a little bit complacent on the day. They were on a good run themselves, and we tore them to pieces for 45 minutes. You know, the goals we scored were excellent, particularly the one where Leeburn fed Blackett Taylor with Dobson's little nick. It was a magnificent goal. So we know there's goals there, and maybe that's why you're getting the tweak at the other end. He's just finding that balance between, we know we've got goals in the team, but I don't like how many we concede. So maybe that's the tweaks he keeps looking for until he finds the right blend. And
just final one, on the bench, you know, there are defenders there as well, but do you feel if we are chasing the game, which there's every chance we could be, there's enough there to come off and change things?
Well, obviously Fraser, you know, will be really disappointed he's not starting. You know, he'll have something to prove, and you know, if he gets on the ball and he's having a good game, things can happen. It's Tedic, I think, that does he need to play down the middle? I mean, he's been played on the right, hasn't he? Obviously Miles is in now, but you know, he got a chance to play in the cup game down the middle, but you know, he must be feeling a bit down about it as well. So, yeah, you've got people on the bench that want to be in the first team, which is what you want.
I mean, to answer your question directly, perhaps not, because you've got the 7 subs, but you can go Alfie, can't you? You can take him out of that slot, put him up alongside Miles, and go much more attacking in that respect alone, just with a little tweak. But I agree with you, Curbs. Tedic alone as the only striker available does leave us, I think, a little bit short in that respect. But you can just have little tweaks in that setup where Alfie can become a lot more threatening and stay alongside Miles. So there's options.
OK. Another busy day in Sky Bet League One. It began at 12 noon with that game between rivals Peterborough and Cambridge, which actually ended up finishing 5-0. To Peterborough, absolutely incredible. 2 goals from Mason Clark and Poku. There was also an own goal late on as well, but that is a massive win, and Posh now move up to 4th. Bolton's Ian Evatt won Manager of the Month for October, and his side hosts Blackpool in a battle between 2 sides with eyes on at least the playoff places. After losing to us, Wigan beat Peterborough on Tuesday, facing an interesting clash with Darrell Clark's Cheltenham. Derby take on 5th place Barnsley, while Leyton Orient host an Oxford team of course, have lost their manager Liam Malling. He joined Bristol City this week. A game of interest to us sees Wickham in 10th, host 6th place Stevenage. And Curbs, let's start with Bolton. Ian Evatt won Manager of the Month, and they are, I think it's fair to say, one of the better teams that we've seen this season.
Well, yeah, and I think it's taking shape a bit, isn't it, the league? And the big, I mean, we talk about ourselves, but obviously Bolton, Wigan, you know, etc., Premier League clubs, Premier League stadiums, like ourselves. You know, that's why it's so competitive, this league, that you look up and down it and there's so many big clubs in it.
Brownie, Liam Manning left Oxford, who are currently 2nd. What sort of impact do you think that will have on them?
Hard to say, because I didn't think they would feature this year in the top 6. I've got to be honest. I thought Portsmouth would and Bolton would and all that, but and Derby will creep up, I think, as the season goes on. But I didn't expect Oxford to be there. So that's a great job they've done there, recruitment-wise, in terms of the manager getting the best out of his team. That's got to have an impact, right? Because you kind of got to bring in a manager that plays similar to Liam, which is quite, it's quite tidy in terms of build-up. But yeah, I mean, it's a big job. I don't think you can turn that down. Bristol's a big job, I think, in the Championship. So I don't think you can turn that down. I think he's got some criticism for leaving, but it's a step up.
It's a billionaire owner who, if he gets his interest again, then could try and take them to the Premier League, which is obviously what he's done before. FFP considered. Look, we're 5 points off the playoffs of the game in hand, Curbs. Early days to be speaking about the playoffs. But as a manager at this point in this season, do you think anything about sort of looking at the table? Look, we've got to stay within a touching distance.
As I'm saying, I think it's taking shape, and there's some big clubs in that top 6. And I mean, Peter was up there who perhaps should have done better last year. So yeah, it's taking shape, and we've got to make sure we're in and around it. And I think that hopefully that will make us more attractive when the window opens up. If it's going to be people that we pay money for or loans, if you're in the top 6, it always helps. And yeah, so I think we've said a couple of times, is this a marker? Is this a marker where we're at? And this is another game, I think, against the top side away from home. If we can get anything from this, then I think we can say, yeah, we've got a chance.
Well, it opens up to the next 3 fixtures, which I think are favourable regarding the teams we're playing against. Doesn't mean you're going to get any result. Carlisle away, you think they've just come up, so we should get something, but that's not an easy trip. But it's Carlisle, Cheltenham, Cambridge. So if we can get something from this, the morale that you may get from that, and then you go on and win against Cray, you beat Sutton, suddenly you come to those 3 teams, and with 3 wins, you could be really talking about
the reason I talk about it is because that's what we should be aiming for. Charlton in the 3rd tier of English football is still trying to get my head around it, but it is what it is at the moment, and obviously everybody at the club is trying to work out and turn it around. I'm looking at the playoff places here. Bolton 3rd, we know they're a good side. Peterborough are a good side and had a very good win today. Barnsley, decent. I don't know if they was good last season, but a decent. Stevenage in that place as well. So you would guess that would be the team that we'd be trying to chase down. But then you've also got the likes of Derby and Blackpool, who will be doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah. As I'm saying, you're looking at that. Take Stevenage out of it, if you like. I think their brand of football and management is a bit different, and I think people find it difficult against them. But you look at the other sides there, and it's very similar to our situation. Premier League club, Premier League stadium, and desperate to get out of this league.
Yeah, you don't know what the impact the change of manager will have on Oxford either. So that if they don't get that appointment right, that could have an adverse effect on their form as well. So, but the other teams you mentioned, I think Barnsley are one of the top scorers. I think so. They've got that going for them. But again, I thought that was a tough job for Neil Collins. He's come from Tampa, bang, first opportunity here in League One, and he's doing really well. So fair play to him.
It's still very open, isn't it, League One, you have to say. Last season, you got the feeling that, obviously Sheffield Wednesday win the playoffs in the end. Didn't see Plymouth coming, but Ipswich were always going to be up there. It still feels very open, despite what Portsmouth have done. OK, now the women's team, I think it's fair to say, are on fire at the moment and had their annual team photo earlier this month. Midfielder Mia Ross took us behind the scenes of the team's photo shoot with a very special 360 camera, and it looks like, Brown, they've had a lot of fun, and 5 wins in 6 will do that for you, won't it?
Absolutely, and I just wish we could have had that much fun when we were playing. Hey, what are you doing out here? Got training.
Can you imagine Curves if we would come out with something like that?
Can you imagine? What's that thing? What's that?
He's still got his Nokia one now,
we're talking about like team photos. It always reminds me that Man United was having a team photo, and like you get all the players there, and then the manager comes out, right? So they're all sitting there apparently, and they had their new sponsors, and all the players are just sitting there waiting for Fergie to come out, and so one of them went, "What's this? Who's this then? Our new sponsor? Who is it? AIG. Who is it? AIG?" And one of them went, "Alex is God." That's one I was still waiting for him to come out.
Not wrong. But you remember those days well, Curbs, making sure Brownie was at the back?
Oh, who done the photo? Was it Robbo? Who was it?
I don't know.
Yeah, let's blame Robbo. Let's blame Robbo.
For what?
We've done all the photo, had the photo done, but someone had done that or done something on it, and we had to come
do it
back
all again.
do it all again. I'm sure it was Robbo. Let's blame Robbo.
Let's
Anyway.
blame him.
Let's blame him. But look, I mean, you know, the Charlton women's side sit third, face second and first in the next 8 days. It'd be an important couple of games for the team, wouldn't it, Brownie?
Yeah, absolutely. You will always have little crunch games that can sort of change your season. And like we were saying about our game today, if they can get a couple of results against those two teams, the confidence and belief from that suddenly springboards you into the next fixtures.
Well, bounced off that Palace game, wasn't it? The Palace
Yeah,
game. The Palace game was the big result.
So I'm saying they do seem to be like I just
Having a
wish,
laugh.
yeah. You just wish you could have had that sort of giggle, you know, because but not in a nasty way.
Look, you're absolutely right. 3 points off
Brilliant.
top spot, 2 big games ahead, and tomorrow they travel to second place Southampton. Next week is back at the Valley for a game against top of the table Sunderland. Tickets available now from booking.cafc.co.uk, and supporters who have a men's season ticket can attend the game for free. Okay, now Charlton, we do have an excellent record against Portsmouth, winning 10 of our last 11 games at Fratton Park. And while we do some shuffling here, let's take ourselves back to 1992. Do you remember this? Curbishley and Grit had struck gold. Do you remember this one, Curbs, at all?
No.
Bob comes out, penalty.
Mine, yours, keep us away.
He makes up for it. He makes up for it. Now, Portsmouth go 1-0 up. The young left-back here is so unlucky.
Yeah, I can see what he was trying to do.
What was he trying to do, Brownie? What would you be saying if we were Charlton TV then?
He's got his feet all muddled up. Why has he gone with that foot?
I think it was another mine, yours away. Oh, it's gone past. So
Lurker.
Yeah.
that's Rob Lee.
Yeah.
Minto.
Assist the
with ball
assister.
out to pitch up.
Assist the assister.
Look at the big man, Carlo.
Oh, that's a good header. It's a good
It's
header.
a fantastic header from
Over
Carlo.
2 defenders. Yeah. Oh, you don't need that, do you? Someone jumping all over your back.
It's up the fans' end as well, isn't it? Is that Pards? That was Pards, wasn't it?
I think it was Pards. And then, of course, we go and get the winner.
Was this video with
Yeah, not even a camera phone.
and ball?
We'll take that.
Yeah, 100%.
Final score, Portsmouth 1, Charlton 2. Who remembers the own goal from the young left-back? OK, now you may be wondering why Brownie is holding that.
That way.
I think it is a
There you
football.
go.
This afternoon it's been borrowed, this football has been borrowed from the Charlton Athletic Museum. The ball was presented to Johnny Summers for scoring 5 times against Portsmouth on the 1st of October 1960. Charlton beat Portsmouth 7-4. And Curbs, it sounds like a heck of a day that day, doesn't it? Do you want to just knock that on the table? Just
Let me tell you.
go on.
It could have smashed it. It
It
is
could have
rock
smashed it.
solid.
I can't believe it was that hard back
It
in the
wasn't
day.
hard. It's been done to preserve it, I guess. It wouldn't have bothered you two because you never headed anything.
What?
I definitely thought you was going to come in with the
Curbs,
with the Birmingham goal.
Curbs, why head it when you can bring it down and play?
Absolutely.
You know?
Just bring it down on your chest and keep possession.
Or lack of skill, maybe.
What would you have been like, Curbs? 7-4 scoreline.
Well, if it's in your favour, that's what it was, wasn't it? In
Yeah,
the
it
favour,
was,
yeah. Would have took that.
Brilliant.
5 goals in a game.
Okay, so very free scoring team we were back in the 60-61 second division, which obviously is championship season, scoring 97 goals. Champions Ipswich scored more with 100, but we let in 91. Oof. So finished 10th that
Some
season.
analysis that year.
97 goals scored, 91 against. For the neutral, it would be brilliant. What would we be like up here doing Charlton TV?
Not good. Not good at all. Yeah, 91's extraordinary. Isn't it?
Conceding 91
Yeah.
goals, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The fixture does have a real history, though, of course, doesn't it? What are your memories of either playing or managing against Portsmouth?
Just the first game back here.
Yeah, it's mine too.
Yeah, just the first game back here and the effect it had on the club because, I just saw that clip there, Lurker, Robert Lee, we call him Lurker, but Robert Lee like twisting and turning there. We had to sell Robert and Anthony Barnes because Anthony Barnes came into the team and Chelsea come and was looking at Minto.
Yeah.
and they took Barney.
I got injured, yeah.
They took Barney instead, didn't they?
Right, yeah.
But that £1 million was raised, but off the two players.
Rob's still not happy that one of the stands not named after
he's
him.
never happy, but he's
Not even a Hall of Famer.
no. But selling Robert Lee and
He's
Barney,
very bitter about
selling
that.
Robert Lee and Barney that week with Roger Owen and the directors, the money they all put in, got us back here.
Yeah.
You know, it had to be done.
I have to say, I look at that game as one of the top 5 of my career because of what it meant for the club I was playing for at the time, which obviously was Charlton. So it coming back to the spiritual home, it was brilliant. I mean, but what do you put, Brownie, the excellent record to Portsmouth down to? Because there's a generation of players that just seems to have continued with it.
Yeah, you can't explain that. Just like you can't explain, I found it very difficult here. Well, not I, but as a team, we never really beat Sheffield United and we never really beat Burnley. And yet I went to Reading and beat both. And so how do you explain those? How do you explain that we can 10 wins in 15 games but never really got
John
results?
Hayes, who's Axis, has never forgive me because 14 games against Man United, we got one draw, and I went to West Ham and won 3 on the spin.
Yeah. How do you explain it?
You know.
Did you ever, whether it be as a Charlton manager against Portsmouth or another team, or even when you were West Ham, did you ever sort of say to the lads, look, we've got a great record here, we can't afford to lose this or whatever? I remember being at Chelsea, actually, we never lost to Tottenham. And no one said anything, but you felt it. Yeah. You can't lose. Refuse. You just can't.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? There's some grounds that players, managers just hate going there and never get a result. And there's some lucky grounds. And Portsmouth is a lucky ground at the moment. Let's hope it continues today.
Yeah, I think we went there last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think we went there last year off the back of a horrendous performance, and we're all sitting there going, "Tough one tonight," and comfortably won.
Yeah,
it was
I think
really
Corey
good.
was very good, wasn't he?
That's right. That's right. No, yeah, you're spot on here. He was. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. You come off the back, and I can't remember who the game was. We were awful. You know, go down to Portsmouth, 3-1 win.
But they are unbeaten in 25 in the league.
Well, it's got to end, isn't it?
I like that.
Yeah. It's got to end.
I like that. And would you be saying that?
Yeah, it's got to end sometime, isn't it? I mean, and you know, they've gone great, but I hope we can respond. I think the problem we have sometimes here is the teams respond coming here and whatever. Let's respond by going there, and it's a sold-out ground, great atmosphere, and as Michael said, it'd be lovely to score at the end with all the fans there.
Absolutely.
Was that the end you done the own goal?
I don't know when it was. We were asking to run it again. No, we can't run it again. I'm afraid, no.
Delete.
Okay, well, someone who might be getting on the score sheet today if we are to get a win is Alfie May. It's been a magnificent month for him. And, of course, October meant that he was the player of the month of Sky Bet League One. Going back to the number 10 role as well, Curbs, and you touched on it earlier and you've mentioned it several times, and you're absolutely right. You're worried about taking something out of his game, but he's adapted so well, hasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, the plus point, as I see it, is that, you know, he's so honest and responsible that, you know, I think he'll play anywhere that Michael asks him to play. He wants to play up top, but I think even he can see if Miles is fit or if Chucks was around, then there's another role for him. He can play on the right. I think he can play on the left. As long as he's in that sort of area, I just don't want him to be too honest. Yeah. You know, because he tracked back the other game he played there, and he was making tackles. We want him in that final third. We want that extra man getting in the box. And if it falls to him, you expect him to score. So yeah, I mean, he seems like the sort of player that, as I say, will play anywhere for you. But he will want to go back up top. And you know, if he does have a lull and he's not scoring, then that's always going to be the nagging fault. Well, I need to go back up top. You know, so while it's all working at the moment, fine.
Let's keep it as it is. Yeah. Well, look, it's 7 goals in 6 games. Let's take a look at them, shall we? And it's a real kind of mixed bag, Brownie, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, I think the one thing you do know about him, and we identified it really early on, we hadn't scored in the first 4 or 5 games, is that he does pick up some fantastic little spots inside that penalty area. He's sort of always in and around it, and if you have a look at some of the goals, particularly in recent weeks, he's inside that 6-yard box looking to get those finishes away. And it sounds very simple, doesn't it? Oh, inside the 6-yard box, a striker, yeah, brilliant analysis. But the amount of players that don't get there, that don't read it, that don't anticipate the cross and where it's going, he seems to do that very well. He overtook Miles to get to that position in that build-up, and that's the difference I'm making. It sounds simple, but he's got the desire to get there. Look at that, middle of the 6, bang.
And they're all different goals, left foot, right foot, headers, you know. So I think 2-footed as well, look.
And that's what makes him dangerous, that he can shift from one side to the other. As a defender, there is no push him out there, because he can do that.
What's impressed you most about him, Curbs?
I think the fact that he's two-footed, that's a great strength to have if you're a striker. But he looks like he really enjoys it. He looks like he probably first in training. I'm not sure. You know, he just reminds me of a couple of players that we used to have in our squads.
Like Brownie.
Yeah, like Brownie. First one in, last one out, and just no matter what. What sort of session's been put on would enjoy it in all respects. Yeah. And he looks like a really good lad around the place. So yeah.
I remember interviewing him for Charlton TV early on in the season, and just the sort of aura he has around him and the charisma. It's almost like he's been here for 6 or 7 years and part of the furniture, settled in straight away. I think at that time he hadn't even scored. Yeah. And yet he was still bubbly, which from a striker's point of view is really important when things aren't going well. It's easy when things are going well.
But I think we was all saying in here, he's going to score goals, he's going to score goals, and he's going to get, you know, don't want to put a bock on it, but he's easily going to get to 20, you know. And if we can have someone else that can get up anywhere near him, then you're onto something, you know. If you've got two of them, you know, it's a real plus point. If you've got two strikers that are nicking goals.
If you've got Miles up to 10 and you've got Blackett Taylor into double figures as well, you know, that's that end of the pitch sort of, right, brilliant.
That's sorted.
We're competing at that end. Midfielder can pitch in with 4 or 5, you know, right side of pitching with 4 or 5. That end sorted. Then you sort of transfer back one. How can we block people out this end? That's the balance we've got to get to. I think we have got enough firepower.
Yeah, that front four, looking at that front four, if you're the opposing manager, you're going, ooh. If Blackett's on form,
that's the key, isn't it?
Yeah, if he's on form,
consistent form,
you know, if he's on form, then that's going to take 2 defenders over there. Tyrese coming in on the other side, that's a bit of pace. But if we get the ball in the box, we're always going to have 2. We're always going to have 2, hopefully 3 if the other wide man comes in there. So yeah, that's dangerous.
Alfie's 30 now. Do you think there's more to come? Do you think he's one of those players that can play till he's 34, 35 and be scoring for fun?
You don't want to hear it, but when you're playing like he's playing at the moment, that's Don't
say it.
I'm not saying nothing.
Go on, you can say it.
No, first time I've heard him shut up. Second time. We saw it once before when he got the call, didn't we? Went very quiet.
There must be other people that are looking.
Do you think there's a genuine worry about that?
Well, we've got a couple of players that, I'm hearing we've got a couple of players already that, you know, Corey Blackett and George Dobson are going to be out of contract. So yeah, you know, that's not good. You know, hopefully the club will tie them down. But then, you know, people looking at the way Alfie's playing, you know, like perhaps the Championship club or whatever, it's a problem.
And Miles, it will draw attention because of his age. You know, he's scoring goals and people will come and look at Miles because he's 18, 19 years of age and they'll be looking to get maybe in before he really becomes an asset. You know, most Premier League clubs are going, right, if we pinch him for that now, rather than wait, that's how you keep the cost down sometimes.
Well, I think there's been bids coming in, but I do feel it feels like for a long time we've got owners who can turn around and say no, because we want to get the club up. And just final one on Alfie as well, and to give credit to the club. A lot of clubs nowadays, they want the young under 25 Premier League, let alone in the EFL, to go out and buy someone like Alfie, the age he's at, I think deserves a lot of credit to the owners, because there's not going to be that, well, you're saying there might be the sell-on value, but you don't know, do you, with 32, 33?
Yeah. But you got the ready-made article. There's no, you know, you ain't got to worry about that then. You know, is he going to, we took a gamble, is he going to make it,
But a lot of clubs don't necessarily go for that, do they? Say, age too old. Would rather buy potential, whereas actually get the here and now sorted.
It's a big move. And I think that, not so much a brave move, because you know what you're getting, but you're right. I think clubs in our position are looking for youngsters to perhaps come through and eventually, if they play in the first team, get the move or whatever, and you capitalise on it. But you know, with Alfie, we all thought, and I'm sure everybody who's connected with him at the club knew that he was going to come through and score goals.
Well, a record alone, Curbs, over the last 2 seasons at Cheltenham, which isn't like a team that's creating bundles and bundles every week, top scorer over the last 2 seasons, tells you everything you need to know about Alfie's goal-scoring ability. Some were outrageous as well. I remember a volley from near the halfway line against, I think it was Peterborough or something. So you know he can do that. It's just whether he comes here.
And there would have been competition, I would have thought, for his signature in the summer. Once it was made known that they've accepted our bid, then others might have sniffed around it, you would have thought.
Okay, Alfie's won the awards twice before. Do you know the last Charlton player to have won a Player of the Month?
I did read it, I think. Was it Amos? Sorry,
How did you read that?
Just these things ping up. You must have liked it. Yeah, I only get things that people like.
Okay, on social media?
Yeah.
Okay.
So so when I open it up, it's just people who have liked it that I know, that's how I see it. But otherwise, I don't really. But I did see that one.
Okay.
Because I remember looking at that going, it's an interesting hairstyle.
Well, that's not. Let's have a look at the picture of Ben, shall we? You want to talk about the hairstyle?
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I'm not sure about it. Looks like it's been sort of Lego hair. You could take it off and put a different one on. Curbs. He's looking at my barnet.
I'm still concerned about only being on social media and things.
I know.
I'm not really a poster. I've got to be honest. I don't like it. I'm not really a poster on it. I don't like engaging on it at all. I don't know why I've still got it. If I'm honest with you, I'd happily shut them all down. Perhaps I will. I just can't get round to it.
Okay, so you knew it was Ben. Do you know when it was?
Not really. 2020, 2019, something like that. I don't know.
October 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's fair enough.
Thank you, mate.
And hopefully we'll be having quite a few more as well from here on in, of course. Again, you can talk for Alfie until the cows come home, really. Can he play in a 2 alongside Miles? Or does that muck up the formation of the team that Michael's looking for?
Yeah, I think that if we went into a 5 at the back, then that fits in. But, you know, look, so many teams are now packing the midfield. And even with George's legs and the way he gets about, I think it's going to be very difficult. So, yeah, I think at the moment where most teams in the league are playing free in the middle of the park, then you've got to match up.
Okay, just a reminder for those of you watching on YouTube or Twitter to get your live streaming past today's game, just £10 to be able to watch Charlton TV's production in full. The game, 6, 7, 8 minutes away now. What are we thinking from today then? Because obviously we know that Portsmouth are playing so well. We know we've got a very good record. I'm not really one for records personally. It's all about the here and now, and this is going to be very tough, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the one thing you can say from statistics alone is defensively they are sound as a pound. 10 goals against in 15 games makes them solid as a rock defensively. 2.33 points a game. I mean, that's astonishing after this amount of games. So it's a tough one, Scotty. I think, what did you say it was, 25 unbeaten?
25.
I mean, that's incredible, isn't it? It doesn't matter what level you're playing at, wherever you're managing or coaching, that is an astonishing record. But if you park that to one side, you can't go down there as an opponent thinking about that. You go down there going, right, can we replicate that 84 minutes? We went up to Wigan, who were off the back of 3 straight wins, and we absolutely ripped them to pieces for 45 minutes. And that's what that front 4, with the 2 little midfielders, Watson and Dobson, can do. We've got to concentrate on that aspect. You know, we can't worry about how well they've done. It's about, right, can we replicate that 84 minutes, you know, over 90 plus? And if we can, then we can certainly cause an upset here, for sure. Absolutely. But we've got to replicate that.
Yeah, how important was that first away win of the season?
Yeah.
It's incredible, isn't it, against Wigan?
Yeah, it was. And I think responded to the fact we went, I keep saying it, nice stadium, the pitch, etc. And I think that looking at this, we've got to respond. We've got to, you know, because of the atmosphere there today and the full house, and took all our contingent. We need a good start. We need a good start because I think that the way they're playing Portsmouth and the atmosphere generated there, we need to stand firm in that first 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, John Mousinho, the Pompey manager, made a superb start, hasn't he, to his managerial career? Yeah,
which, I mean, I obviously look at all the opposition stuff, and to find out that was his first gig, it's impressive, isn't it? And obviously this run goes back into the back end of last year as well, obviously. And so he comes in as a new manager, and so he's effectively